Hi everyone, good morning. Steve Crosby here. Welcome to this edition of Monday Morning Musings. The Dark Ages. There were none. Yet you and I have been to school and we've been told that, from the fall of the Roman Empire until the Renaissance on the secular side and the Reformation on the spiritual side, humanity was in this great period of darkness. The Dark Ages are called dark by academics and academics at the time, because what happened is people weren't speaking Latin anymore. They weren't reading the classics and Aristotle and Plato anymore. And it was almost an elitist or arrogant thing. As a matter of fact, those years from maybe 250 or definitely from the fall of Rome to the Renaissance era weren't dark at all. It was some of the most creative, inventive, quantum jumps in technologies in the entire history of humanity. Why is this important? Because part of the Protestant metanarrative is that during the ages went dark because the church, the Roman Catholic Church, just declined into superstition and darkness and false doctrines and keeping people in darkness, withholding the truth. So the Dark Ages are necessary because we come on the scene as Protestant reformers and we're part of bringing light back to humanity. Just not true. So I'm going to give you some of the data and some of the things that happened in the so-called Dark Ages. First of all, the skills in the metallurgical arts and sciences were astronomical. Some of the finest works of art and jewelry known to humanity have come out of the so-called Dark Ages. Ironworking, toolsmiths, weapons. There was revolutions in agriculture, transportation, manufacturing, music, art, literature, science. You can't make the kind of jewelry like that, the Anglo-Saxon hoard, the kind of fine metalworking that came out of without understanding some science. Water mills were everywhere. As a matter of fact, in England alone, there's over 5,000 of them. And in continental Europe, where there was windmills, there was actually lawsuits about who's blocking the wind from whose windmill. There was a dam that was made in Toulouse in 1120. The three-field rotating system in agriculture came out of the so-called Dark Ages. Chimneys were invented in the Dark Ages. Eyeglasses were invented in the so-called Dark Ages. And here's one. Slavery was abolished for the first time in the so-called Dark Ages. Charlemagne banned slavery in his kingdom. And in 900 AD, we have music notation for the first time. The design of the flying buttress came during the architectural flying buttress, otherwise an ability to make tall buildings because of external supports, came during the so-called Dark Ages. The monks, primarily in Ireland, were doing the beautiful and frankly preserving the scripture text and other writings in Ireland, practically literally preserving the scriptures for us, or we wouldn't have them. And the manuscripts and the artwork in some of those the beautiful artwork in some of those manuscripts. Can't remember, the name escapes me at the moment. Another thing that people need to get out of their head about the Dark Ages is that it was anti-intellectual or anti-learning. It's not true. There were universities that were founded and the latter part of the Dark Ages. In Paris and Boulogne, there were universities that were founded in the 12th century. Cambridge in the UK was founded around 1200. So the idea that humanity just went into this near caveman-like troglodyte condition that you and I, as members of the Protestant Reformation, swooped in and saved humanity from bondage to eternal darkness, is simply not the truth. And I honestly don't know any qualified scholarly academic who believes in the so-called Dark Ages anymore. It's something you're going to find in your high school textbooks and maybe some of your college textbooks, but it's simply not true. There was no such thing. It just wasn't Latinized. It didn't have the pizzazz of Rome. It didn't have Roman architecture, and it didn't have Greek philosophy, and it basically isn't classy like us. Was there wretched poverty? Yes. Was there the feudal system? Yes. Was there economic injustice? Yes. Was there class hierarchy? Yes. But in the sense of humanity not making any progress, simply not true in the various categories that I've just itemized for you. So part of that Protestant metanarrative that we've held to, gotta go, just not true. See you the next time.